I'm from the high school district, and we have two high school districts that are in high demand right now for the tennis courts. So I would think that that would be a priority. Now, on the other side, we only have one golf course. And I know it's a huge project, but all the golfers that are in Centro go to Raleigh and Hopeville. There's a 9-hole course here. There was talk of a course years back. If it had been built back then, it would be, a big draw right now, especially with the development. The development was probably taking place around the golf course. But I think that's something for the future we can consider, a potential golf course. I know land is running out in the city of Centro, and you're talking about quite a bit of land for a golf course. That would be a potential for the future. But I think the highs, mediums, and lows are correct. But I would include the tennis courts in the high category, because the city does not have any tennis courts. They're using the high school district courts.
Where would you rate golf?
I would rate golf fairly high, because there's quite a few golfers here. The only people that were rated probably in the low to medium category are those who don't play golf. And if you know any golfers, I'm pretty sure you differ into an argument. But and I've heard that before, that okay, well, there's not enough golfers. There's quite a few golfers here. I just got back from a weekend trip in Mexico, played 2 courses, only because we get tired of playing here. We go to we go to Palm Valley, we go to San Diego, but just like the skaters, you don't have it here, you're going to go elsewhere. But it's definitely a facility for the future to consider.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Irving?
Again, like my colleague stated, I agree with the high in the medium. I just think the sports complex is quite expensive, 20 to 60 million. Maybe down the road, in 5 years, but I think we should focus on things we can do immediately to get the public something back in return. And look in our budget, see if we can get something for skate park. Start something small. Don't have to be big. Look what's in Raleigh. Look at the ones that are out there in our community. Let's look at Raleigh, Weston, and Caltech. Come with small ideas and then advance into bigger ideas. Overall, I agree with the highs and lows and the mediums. I think you're right on target. I think, speaking on term, I think athletic sports complex, while be great to have, economically, I don't think it would be reasonable with impact fees and make tax increases. But that's just something, just my personal opinion.
Thank you. Ms. McNeese.
I also agree, basically with the concepts that you have of what's high, medium, low. I think we need to take care of what we have. I think our parks are not in good condition. Even an example which my colleague brought to mind tonight is we have this nice facility, and we have a huge crowd here tonight, and our snack machines are out of order. So that would be something to attend to what we do have. I totally support the voice of the public tonight with the need for a skate park. And I don't think it should be one big skate park. I think we need to have a couple small ones, but then a larger competitive one as well. I went to the annual conference this past last month, and they reinforced the idea that you need to have different skate parks that can accommodate different levels of skaters. If you have the novice skaters mixed in with the very expert skaters, that's when you're more likely to have accidents occur. And so if we had them placed more regionally, within neighborhoods where the kids could go, but then there was a larger complex where they could actually go to compete, I think that would serve our community well. I'm looking at the distribution of our parks in your map. I do see that we have, a lot of parks that are centrally located. We know that the growth in El Centro area is towards the west and south end of the community, and I don't think we have anything in that area. And I do think that we need to plan for the future as far as what recreational facilities are going to go up there. We have a lot of housing that's going there, but no park. recreation area there. And I work for the County Office of Education. We have 40 acres of land that the county office has purchased that is right next to the facility out on McCabe Road, which is getting ready to be annexed. And we're very interested in doing some kind of a joint use agreement for the development of a recreational complex that could be on that land but access to the community. And it would also serve students with special needs. As you know, the county office operates that program. And we need a place for Special Olympians to actually practice and compete, not only track and field, but swimming. And that could be a facility that could turn into park area for our community.
Thank you, Mr. Newhouse.
I'm very impressed with the amount of people that came out about the skateboard park. I've been a commission member since late 2003. For a year and a half, we had this on our agendas, and no one walked through the door. No one came to tell us their opinions. We also had requested sponsorship information and fundraising, and no one stepped up to the board for that. So I'm quite impressed that there are people out here that this is becoming an issue in the city, because it is something that this board looked at for quite some time, and it fell by the wayside. I'm also afraid that I don't want to see us get into a baby boomer generation. The point was made that some of the sports that kids do now are different than the baby boomers or the Generation X kids. I'd hate to see us build or use $115 million to build things that they're not going to use, or their kids aren't going to use. I think the vision, looking into the future, and the vision that we bring forward has to be a little different. So I was glad to see so many people come up with that information. Basically, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Newhouse. Ms. Samantha.
I one more thought to the council for having this venue here. I think the first time in 100 years that there's always opportunities to do something new, and so I thought this was wonderful to give the community the opportunity to provide input. I'm also in agreement with a high, medium, a low situation, the priorities here. I know that the young people want something done now, but we know the situation with funding. But I'm gratified that in spite of the fact that these are hard times, that the city is still looking at ways to improve our community, and not saying, well, we just can't do it because there's no money. We're planning ahead. I think it's a good thing to do, and I think no matter what road we take, what decisions we make, there will be some people that will be very satisfied and some people that won't. But I think that we continue to look at this with the idea of how we best serve our community and our young people, because they are the future. And I'm happy to be part of this process.
Thank you. Mr. Stevenson.
Well, skateboarding is not something that's very new to me. People around here seem to think that it's a fairly new phenomenon. I lived in Santa Cruz for many years, and people were skateboarding up there 30 years ago and 40 years ago, and we skateboarded in abandoned swimming pools and stuff like that. And I'm going to make the assumption that the skateboarding term comes from the fact that we used to ride the top copes of the swimming pools. I like the idea of some kind of a skateboard committee getting together and finding out about having land donated. The city does have land. They have street property that's sitting there that's nothing's being done with it. And I realize that the city council probably are not skateboarders, and I'm not a skateboarder any longer. But was a lot of good input about this here tonight. And one of the things I thought of was the fact that if you had a couple of skate parks